This is patient S47. He has a diagnosed memory impairment disorder, but is otherwise a healthy male in his early 20s. On June the 20th of this year, specifically at 10:31 a.m., I administered a 25 milligram dose of Mentanovox to patient S47. Mentanovox is, at its core, a calcium ion accelerator paired with a specific protein that binds to specific dendritic neuroreceptors. Essentially, it makes signal transmission flow faster in the brain. A lot faster. 30 minutes after administering the dose, I began a series of cognitive speed assessments. The results were extraordinary. He was able to perform incredible inhuman feats. The patient memorized and perfectly recited a 100 number sequence after reading it once. He solved a poster-sized maze in under 2 seconds, a 50-word search in under 3 seconds. At one point, I dropped a pen. This was entirely by accident, something unplanned. He caught it mid-air. It had barely left my hand, despite only a second earlier he had been on the other side of the room. Mentanovox didn't just improve S47's cognitive ability. It pushed him well into the range of superhuman thinking speeds.
If this isn't your first trial, then why did it turn out differently to any of the others?
I allowed the patient to leave 2 hours early. I didn't think that his mental speed could accelerate any further, but it did. I just told him to enjoy the extra time he would seem to have, since to his super-accelerated brain, minutes would seem like hours. At the time, I thought he would view the drug's effects as a positive thing. I pictured him at home, happily speed-reading through books he wanted to find time to read. It didn't occur to me that from his point of view, just getting home from our office would seem like it took days. He must have experienced hours of perceived time just in the elevator from our office. A day waiting for the next train, and another day crammed inside a crowded and stuffy metro car. If I'd have thought of that while he was still in our office, then I wouldn't have just sent him on his way with nothing more than a Mentanovox trial pamphlet. But what happened to S47 was much, much worse than experiencing the equivalent of days on the metro. I took a blood sample and ran an engram decay. To put it simply, cells in a conscious brain continuously make new connections and tear existing ones down. The new connections represent learning, and the torn down connections represent forgetting. When we sleep, cerebral spinal fluids wash away the metabolic debris from this activity, then the cycle repeats. The test I ran measures how much engram decay, forgetting, has happened since the last sleep cycle. So, the greater the engram decay means the subject has perceived a longer period of consciousness. These results, they are impossible. If they are accurate, in the 90 minutes between leaving the lab and arriving at the ER, S47 perceived 8 million years of consciousness. The man had been awake so long that he'd forgotten everything, literally everything. His mind had been running so fast that even the nearly instantaneous act of blinking would have been perceived as thousands of years of darkness. From his perspective, his view of the metro station from under that bench was an eternal, unchanging scene.
The original question is still outstanding. Why would this be different to any of the other trials?
We found evidence in his blood work that about 30 minutes after leaving the office, he took an Ambien, a sleeping aid. Our best guess is he couldn't cope with the days or even months of perceived time. He wanted to sleep through it. The Mentanovox that was already unusually active within the subject interacted with the sleeping drug. I'm hoping that it simply broke down his neurons, leaving him brain dead. But the leading theory is that it enhanced the drug, which means he did experience it. 8 million years, longer than even the human species has existed, of nothing.